Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
The summertime edition of The Local Show. You found it. Take your boat and just moor up over there. You know what mooring means, right?
Yes. It's when you go to a movie and it lasts too long. It's mooring.
I thought it was
boring.
drinking
it's
beer.
Boring. Sorry. That's why I don't go to movies.
Moor up your boat and have a conversation with Tom and Steve here on The Local Show. We champion local business, folks, and that means you do too, because you're here, and if your ears are on here, you're thinking to yourself, geez, who are they going to talk to next?
You know, it unfortunately, not the most exciting guest.
Oh, now that's not true.
Go ahead, tee up your best friend ever, your BFF on the radio Local Show. If Steve loses his voice, you've got a friend, co-host. Go ahead, introduce him. Go ahead. People are dying to know.
The local intelligentsia. Here he is, George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting. How are you there, George?
I'm doing super great and getting better.
See
Isn't that
how
a
he
song?
knows
Got
what
a
to
friend
say.
in me.
Yes, he's got a friend.
He wants my chair, Tom.
All right, George, tell us about Powers Accounting. How long you been in business?
Too many years. 28 years about. 28 years in another couple months. So yeah, it's been a ride.
So you've had a chance to even make mistakes and recover from them.
I say wisdom is the accumulation of your mistakes. And my son says I'm very wise.
Did you then tell him he was a mistake?
No, I didn't bother that.
Goodness.
Some things don't need to be said.
Okay.
That's one of those unsaid things.
You work with a lot of local businesses, and you're just more than taxes, right? You're kind of a consultant to local businesses.
Yes, we do a lot. Everything we do, we have some consulting aspect of it. We've been these days working a lot more in what we call the business framework, and we work with some newer businesses that have some money they may want to spend, or businesses in the second stage of life, or they just want to get to a different place in their business. And we work with a system, or we work with them developing their culture, their values, their missions, and in a very, not in a pie in the sky, look what I'm going to put on my website, but a usable set of values and mission and culture. And then we take that, we work in what does that mean to them, and then what we do is we design a plan for their business to bring their business where they want it to be. What's their dream? What's their why factor? That's one of the things we go through. Why are you in business? Where do they want to bring their business? We look at where their business is now, the reality of where it is. Where does it want to be in 5 years from now? And then we scale it back to 2 years, because it's hard to work on a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
That's more of a, hey, where's my dream in 5 years? We bring it back to a 24-month framework, and we say over the next 24 months, where do you want to bring your business? And each month we have, what's your one thing you need to do this month? What's one factor, one conversation, one task to accomplish?
But that may have nothing to do with accounting.
No, it's not.
How about that, right?
Yeah.
To Tom's point.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Business consulting.
That's you need to have the numbers to help you in the consulting side, but to guide your business. But the consulting part is and the reality of, and what our mission statement is, we are here to help business owners survive and succeed and meet their goals. Mm. There's nothing to be said about accounting in that.
Right.
Because accounting may very well be an aspect
part
of
of it, yeah.
but there's a whole lot of other things that we really work on. And I had a client not long ago that said, George, you know why I like you guys? He said, what? He said, because you're growth-minded. You don't just tell me what the things I cannot do. And sometimes you do.
Yeah, right.
But it's what we can do. Where do we want to go?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
think about where do we want to go. And that client is really kind of neat. He now has a business in 3 or 4 states. He started off as a repair shop in Fulton and refused to buy a cash register.
Oh, my goodness.
The first thing I made him do, and it took work, I'm telling you, this was not an easy conversation.
How about that?
Buy a cash register.
Yes.
He's out of that business. He's doing other stuff. He works for some government agencies. He's got a business that's over 4 states.
Wow.
And so it's really grown a lot from that initial stage. And so we do try to work our clients in where do we want them to go.
Tell me about your payroll services.
Oh, that's another part that we do. One of the nice things about our payroll service is when you call, we answer.
Are you implying, George, that if I
Some people
call
may not.
one of these national payroll services that that people know the initials of that maybe nobody answers the phone, or
they either don't answer or you don't get the same person. So we have our folks right here. They answer the phone. If you have a question, we answer it. At the same time, we also try to do, in essence, some consultation on what we're doing there. Because a client will say, here, I want you to do this. And it may be, that's not quite legal.
Right, but
you really probably shouldn't. But here's an idea.
But if something,
how would you do this?
If something is broken in payroll, like let's imagine we messed up and Tom's not going to get paid this week. That's a now thing.
That is a problem.
Right. Yes. That's a oh my gosh, we put the thing and it went, we switched the money into the wrong account, or we probably did something.
Guess what that happens.
Does okay. All right. So there's a problem to be solved.
Yes.
Which probably can't be addressed through an email or a chat box or a nothing. And that's where your point about somebody answers the phone, you were smiling, but you really mean that.
Oh, really mean that. And we have had exact cases. People send in the payroll, and then all of a sudden they call on the payday and say, I forgot to pay Tom. Well, you think Tom wants to wait 2 weeks for another check?
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah, right.
Okay, what do we need to do to solve it? And there's different ways we can go about solving that particular situation or something similar, but we're here to try to help solve that. Here's what it is. Drive out here, get a check. We have an office. It's in Liverpool. You want to pick up a check because something silly happened? Drive out. We'll get the check printed here.
Tom doesn't know this, but there was, before we were working with you, George, we were using another payroll company, and there was a mistake that added a zero to someone's paycheck.
Was it mine?
No.
Oh.
You would have known that.
Added a zero to someone's paycheck.
What's a zero between friends?
So
right?
now we go, well, wait a minute, and right, big serious change. And it all got worked out, but things happen.
Yes.
And you can be responsive. You can be responsive.
When payroll Made Simple is our payroll company. When payroll is done right, it's seamless. You don't see it. When business owners hire a payroll company so employees don't complain about things like not getting their paycheck, things are not done right. If those things are not working, you're not doing your job as a payroll company. But it also has to be simple and helpful for the business owner because you're taking something off their plate. They can call, they can email, we can get hours in many different ways, pay in different ways. But you get it to us, we take it, we can email it, we can do direct deposit, we can do everything, any possible way you want to get paid, we can do that. But that also depends on the business. The idea is to take a burden off of their plate, make sure the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, all the taxes get paid at the proper time in the proper amounts, all the quarterlies get filed, and then all their employees, it's seamless to them. They get a check.
Right. You work with hundreds of businesses. How's business?
Great.
Are people happy?
As far as I know.
Right. Do you have customers that are thriving or struggling, or maybe a mix?
Oh, it's a mix in the small business community because we deal in the small business world. We don't have clients that have 300 employees. That's not what we do.
Right.
Our average client is anywhere between 2 to 15, 20 employees, somewhere in that vicinity.
I heard a term this past week in a news story called Bidenomics. So is the Bidenomics working in your favor?
I have not heard that.
You haven't heard that
That's
term?
a new one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new businesses starting up.
Okay.
Syracuse has always been a haven for small business. That's nothing new. And I think what's happening, more and more people are starting more and more new businesses. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of new businesses starting up, a lot of remaking of businesses. So there's a lot of activity.
Is it a good idea to connect with you or someone like you when that happens, or should they wait until everything's in a big bag 2 years later when it's all messed up?
It's usually best to make a conversation in an early stage, yes, because it does help guide. We can help guide them, me or someone like us. That there's a lot of good folks out in our area that they can help guide folks on how to keep certainly on the accounting side, how to make sure that the accounting is done properly and people don't get themselves in trouble.
Should they start their marketing plan when they're beginning to fail or before that?
Marketing usually would be better before that. It's hard to pull someone out of a bucket in that case.
Business is awful. We need to market, but we don't have any money.
And we don't have a business to market for.
So call George Powers, 701-1120.
Yes, sir.
701-1120, gpowers.com, Tom.
All right. It's always a pleasure, George, and hope to have you back on for at least 3 or 4 months in a row. Instead of Steve.
That's because George says I need to take more vacations.
That's right.
Johanna Bassard is coming up next. She's the agricultural teacher and a part owner in Barbland and White Eagle Dairy. We're going to have an interesting conversation with her. See what she's all about right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.